Hi, welcome back to another Heather Mac Reacts. Today we're going through some,
Emma the Devil Post.
and of course, as we do lately on the Heather Mac Reacts channel, we have the updates. So if you like videos like this, make sure you subscribe because I post 5 times a week, every single week. And if you're ready, I'm ready. Let's get into this first. Am I the devil story? This says, am I the a-hole for being annoyed that my wife allowed my brother to stay at our house? Now, of course, Reddit has already dubbed them the a-hole, but let's find out why. Me, 39 male, my brother lives. My brother. Oh, I was up very late last night, as the channel members will know. Yesterday's video did not get published until like 1 in the morning ish. So I'm a little bit tired. I thought it was talking about the wife's brother, but it's the husband's brother. And now I believe it is time to get these bad ladies involved. So let's start that story one more time. Me, 39 male, my brother, 20, lives with his girlfriend about an hour's drive from me and my wife. My brother and I have never been close due to the age difference. Our parents had me young and then him later in life. He was always the spoiled one who got whatever he wanted. We see each other on holidays and special occasions, but other than that, we might talk on the phone once or twice a month. That's not that distant. I mean, I have a brother that I don't talk to for months at a time. We just call or text each other if we like need something, and then I see him when I go and visit in New York, and then we like chit chat then. But like, that's distant. This is not very distant. Last night I had to work late and could not be reached by phone. When I got off, I noticed that I had 2 missed calls from my brother and a few from my wife, but it was already close to 11 p.m., so I chose to just drive home and not call and possibly wake someone up. I walk into the house and see my wife, 41 female, and brother on the couch playing Mario Kart. When I walk in, they both say hi and go back to their game. I went to the bedroom to shower and frankly just sleep. I was exhausted. My wife comes in a few minutes later and I ask her why my brother was there. She said he called her because he and his girlfriend had gotten into a pretty heated argument and he just needed to get away from the situation for a little while he figured out what he was going to do. They only have one car and it's in the girlfriend's name, so he couldn't take it. Apparently, he tried to call me, and when I didn't answer, he called her, and she went and picked him up an hour away, even though she hates driving at night. They also went out to dinner before coming home. I told her that I find it odd that she would pick up my brother and take him to dinner just because he got into an argument with his girlfriend, that he is an adult and needed to work it out. She just rolled her eyes at me and said he would be staying in the spare room as long as he needed, that I was acting weird, and that he is my brother and has no idea why it was such a huge deal that he was here. I mean, really, you didn't walk in on them like snuggled up watching a movie. They're fucking playing Mario Kart, and okay, they got dinner. They didn't go on a romantic date, probably. And like, yeah, she would drive an hour in the dark because she's trying to help family, because that's what you do for family. You don't just let them work it out. That's a lazy armchair fucking sibling right there. Someone who sits in their they call it armchair parenting, the ones that sit in a chair and go, you, hey, stop doing that. Go get this, let go of your sister. And you don't actually like get up and do anything about your children's behavior. This is like an armchair sibling. Let me just sit over here and like just watch you fucking figure out your own bullshit on your own. What an asshole. I told her that if someone is staying at my house, especially my family, I should be the one who decides that he had no right to call her, that he should have waited for me to call him back and would be talking to him in the morning. She told me to deal with it and grow up, that he was always welcome here. My wife is now mad at me, and I am stuck with my brother in the house for who knows how long until he figures out his life. We already have 2 teens. I don't need another kid here. He's your little brother, and he's also, I mean, not a teenager. He's a little older. I stand by what I said. My brother doesn't need to be here, but my wife is still mad at me today. Am I the a-hole for saying that she should not have picked up my brother and allowed him to stay at the house? Yeah, Why are you being so harsh? Why are you being so, oh, let the fucking 20-year-old figure it out? Okay, so in one breath, you're saying, he's young, I don't need another kid here. And in another breath, you're saying, oh, well, he can figure out his own mess. So which is it? Is he a kid who can't, like, even fucking be mature in your house? Or is he a grown-up who should figure out his own mess? I'm not sure you can have both ways there, pal. What an asshole. Let's see what the update says. I don't think just because I think at 18 a person should be out of the house and not rely on family to support them makes me a bad person. That run-on sentence didn't do you any good, sir. People need to grow up and be adults. I expect the same from my children. They're expected to have a job and save money to move out when they are 18 and graduated from high school. If they go to college, they can stay, but are expected to pay for it on their own and pay a small amount of rent. So you're only a parent for 18 years. There's an expiration date on being a parent, huh? And I don't mean cater to your fucking children, but I mean give them a chance. You don't kick an 18-year-old out with no credit, no job history. Well, maybe they have a job history, no freaking rental history, like, et cetera, et cetera. You don't just kick them out of the nest and be like, good fucking luck, you're 18, time for you to figure it out yourself. That's bullshit. Is that what your parents did to you? I would really like to know. I would really like to know. My wife does not agree with this and says they can stay as long as they need. I am trying to make her see reason. In my opinion, as a mother of a 5-year-old and a 1-year-old who doesn't know exactly how I'll feel in 13 and 17 years, however, I will say that at this stage in my life, I believe that if you are in school full time, you do not have to pay to live in my house. If you are working full time, you need to be saving to get out of my house. And if you can't save, then I will start charging you and I will save it myself. I don't see a world in which I charge my kid for rent. My parents charged my brother, for the one that's my age, they charged my brother money when his girlfriend lived with them, but that was basically for groceries because she had breakfast, lunch, and dinner there. So that makes sense to me, like if you're bringing an extra person into the house, or like, I mean, you know, you're getting older, like you can pitch in for some groceries. I'm not going to make you pay for the electric. I'm not going to make you pay for your room. But if you're eating like a grown man and you're making like a big boy salary, like you could probably pitch in for some groceries. Like, I just can't imagine being like, oh yeah, you're paying to live here in your childhood fucking home. What the fuck? As a kid, I was never taken to the zoo, museums, or out to eat. I was sent to a public school and not allowed to play sports or do activities because there was never money. I had to get a job as soon as I could. My parents were 16 when they had me. Even when they got older and had more money, I still did not get the opportunities that my brother was given. He got the best and I got nothing. It's time he stood on his own. Okay, so this is you being a spiteful dick and saying, well, I didn't have it, so you can't fucking have it. Let me tell you something. You don't have to be like that, okay? My childhood was much rougher than my little brother and sister's childhood, okay? We're talking like living with shitty roommates and having this fucking roommate called CPS on my mom that she was like an alcoholic when she wasn't. She worked at a bar, and in New York, the bars close at like 4. She's not getting home until like 5:30, and then her kids have to be to school by 8. She was a tired woman. She probably did look like a drug addict, but you didn't stop to ask. Like, we lived in your house, lady. Anyway, I'm just saying all sorts of stuff happened. We were fine. We were never taken away. We were interviewed for like the next like 3-4 years of our lives, like periodically. And we're like, yeah, like we're fine. Like, my mom doesn't like drink like that. Like, I don't know what you're talking about. And then second of all, you're being so spiteful to your sibling because they got what you didn't get. Now, back to my point, my childhood was much rougher than my siblings' childhood, but I'm happy that they don't have to go through what I went through. They don't have to go through the instability, the worry, the anxiety, like there was a lot, and they didn't have to go through any of that. And I am so grateful that they grew up with an easier life because I love them and I want better for them and easier for them. Why wouldn't I? If you love someone, you clearly don't love your brother. I'm not sure you love anybody. I'm not sure you're capable of it. Believe it or not, he's not done. Yes, my kids got to go to the zoo / park / museums, play sports and attend activities. They get a lot of what I didn't, but those are my kids, not my brother. I don't see why my wife would take him along with her. My brother has always loved her like another mom, so I had to share her with my brother too. Bro, how old are you? 38? Hold up. 39. You're my age. And you're talking like a little itsy bitsy child. You are just some kind of something. I got home from work last night. Everyone was getting ready for dinner. After dinner, I told the kids to please go to their rooms so I could talk to my brother and wife. I asked my brother why he was there and why he felt the need to call us instead of working it out. He said that he just needed to get out of the house. He had found out that his girlfriend had cheated on him and she was planning on leaving. She blamed him for her cheating because he wouldn't marry her or have a baby with her, and that was what she really wanted. At 20, slow down, pump them brakes, sir. I said what she wanted wasn't unreasonable, that he was being immature. If he could live with her, he could marry her. Are you good? Are you all right? Yeah. Let's tell the 20-year-old to solve their own problems by getting married to some bitch at 20. What? Bro, do you have any common sense? Any good advice inside that fucking knucklehead of yours? My wife said that not everyone wants to be married and have children that young. He is an adult. Grow up. Is he a kid or is he an adult? Is he a kid or is he an adult? Which is it, motherfucker? I said I didn't appreciate them making decisions without me. This could have been sorted out the next morning. No one needed to drive 2 hours or run away from home. I asked when my brother was planning on leaving. He had talked to his girlfriend. She was moving out by Sunday. Then he would go home. He had 2 months left on the lease, so he was going to look for something smaller to move into. I said that I didn't like him staying that long. My wife said, he's your brother. A few days are not going to kill anyone. I agreed just to stop the fight. I didn't like it, but I felt backed into a corner. I still think he needs to go home and deal with his own problems. My brother said, thanks, I appreciate it, and walked off. My wife and I talked some more. Neither one of us is really happy with one another. If I was your wife, this would be the clearest, most distinct red flag I have ever seen in my life. Like, if you don't see how heartless this man is to his own fucking brother, how spiteful and nasty and vindictive he is to his own family just because he grew up rougher and had it tougher than his brother. And I get it. If you really felt that your parents favored him over you and he got away with shit and he treated you like shit, like if this was like a Harry Potter and a Dursley Dudley sort of thing, I could understand you not liking your brother. But I think even Harry would have given Dursley, did I say? Dudley Dursley. I think he would have given Dudley a place to stay if he came to him genuinely like this. I really do. Anyway, let's see what the comments say. You don't understand, his brother was happy growing up and that makes him sick. How could his parent better themselves financially and have another child that didn't struggle? It's horrid, just sick. He had a good life when the older brother probably had to live lower middle class. That's rough. Yeah, that doesn't mean you need to take it out on the one who didn't have it as bad just because he didn't have it as bad. How was that his fault? Next says, yeah, I feel like there's a lot of resentment for his brother that has nothing to do with his brother. His parents were likely in a better emotional and financial state when brother was born, which sucks for OP, but is no reason to be shitty to his brother. Exactly. It is not the brother's fault. He needs to stop paying the price for this, and you need to get a fucking grip. I would like to know what you all thought about that one in the comments, and let's get on to the next story. This says, I cut off my best friend because my wife told me to. I hate myself for it. It actually had to be reposted because it got so much attention, so buckle up, y'all. We are in for it with this one. I'm new to Reddit. If I'm doing this wrong, please let me know. I'll admit I have 2 reasons for making this post. 1, I'd like advice on how to fix things with my best friend after I cut him off. 2, I'm hoping he sees this post and talks to me. My best friend started using Reddit after his girlfriend cheated on him. He said he came here for advice and it really helped him. Oh, this co-host just can't get enough of me. Anyway, back to the story. I know I'll get hate-filled messages for what I did, but I don't care. I just want to fix things. I miss him and I'm worried about him. What happened? My wife and I are 25 and thinking about starting a family. I've known my best friend since we were teenagers. He grew up in the foster care system and in group homes. He had a really terrible time of it. When I met him, though, he didn't let any of that change him, though. He has always been such a loyal and caring guy. We became friends from the start and we get along really well. When he turned 18, the foster parents that were looking after him kicked him out because they weren't going to receive benefits for looking after him anymore. I told my parents and they let him live with us to finish school and afterwards so he could find a place to live and wouldn't have to go homeless. I met my now wife while I was in uni. When we started dating and met my friends, she always was a bit standoffish with him. He has always been kind to her and welcomed her wholeheartedly. When we got married, he was so excited. He did so much to help us with the wedding, helped organize everything pretty much, and even as an early wedding gift, paid for some of it. A couple of months ago, my wife and I started talking about kids and decided to try. Last month, though, she told me she didn't want him around our kids because of his childhood. She didn't want our kids to hear about how he grew up because she thinks it'll make them sad and she wants them to not lose their innocence. Do you think he's gonna unload on a 2-year-old? Stupid? Do you think he's going to use a freaking 4 or 5-year-old as like his therapist? I just don't understand why these kids would need to know so much about his past in a way that would make them lose their innocence. What the fuck are you talking about, lady? He has never really been weird about his childhood. If someone asks him, he is honest, but he doesn't shove it down your throat or anything. I initially pushed back and refused to cut off my best friend for something he had no control over. She was adamant that he was not going to be around our kids. She kept saying that she would not let his life make them sad. Oh, yeah, okay, so let's just shield them from every freaking thing. She reminds me of Friends and Phoebe Buffay. Do y'all remember that, like, she never saw the end of any of the sad movies? Like, she didn't know in Old Yeller that the dog dies in the end. Don't raise your kids in a candy land, okay? Because it's not realistic. I mean, you don't have to tell them every little thing, but, like, for instance, you ask my 5-year-old where babies come from, he's going to tell you it's in China's. Because, boy, got my papers. Because when Jay was a little bit littler, my 5-year-old asked me, hey, did I come from a hole in your belly like baby Jay did because he was a C-section? And I said, no. And he's like, okay, where did I come from? And I was like, my vagina? And he's like, real? And I was like, yeah, I kind of pooped you out. And he's like, real? And I was like, yeah, I mean, kinda. And he's like, real? And I'm like, I know it sounds like it shouldn't make sense, but that's really how you got here. And then so recently I did this thing online where it's like, ask your toddler or ask your kid all these questions and write down their answer exactly. And I asked him, do you know where babies come from? And he said, yeah, China's. And I was like, you're not wrong. So, I mean, he's still innocent and knows like what a China is. Like, He knows that some people don't have moms and dads. Some people don't have a mom. Some people don't have a dad. Like, these are things that you can slowly teach your child because it's things they'll need to know in the real world. The fuck? He has done incredibly well for himself. He has a stable job, an apartment that is honestly nicer than ours, and is incredibly caring. She ended up giving me an ultimatum, him or her. She's my wife, and I panicked, so I chose her and told him I wouldn't be able to see him anymore, and once we had our first child, we would be done. He tried to reason with me and even offered to speak to my wife about it. She met with him, but afterwards said it was sad, but her mind was made up, so I did it. I fully cut him off. Believe this. He just went like this. After I did, a lot of our friends did the same. They said they didn't want to cause any issues or start drama, so they also cut him off. I told them that there wouldn't be any drama, but they said what's done is done. My wife honestly seemed pleased that it had happened the way it did. I've reached out to him a couple times to see how he's doing and to make sure he's okay, but he hasn't replied once. 2 nights ago, I tried calling him, but he's blocked my number. He doesn't have social media, so I tried going to his place to talk to him, but he didn't answer. I know he was home because I heard the TV on. I asked my friends if they'd heard from him, but he's blocked them as well. I don't know his Reddit username, but I can't think of anything else to do. I miss him. I guess I've realized I want him in my life. I want my future kids to know him. I want them to look up to him the same way I do. He's an incredible person. He's never let how he grew up stop him, always striving to be of service to those around him. I can't sleep and I can't believe what I did to him. I spoke to my wife and she says she has felt guilty for what has happened. I can't go to his work because he works for the government and they'll never let me in the building to go to his office to talk to him. I need advice on how to make things right and see him again. My wife and I have decided we were wrong and she has said she wants to apologize for this. How can I fix this Reddit? How can I get him to talk to me again? Please help. Oh my God. This is fucked up. This is so fucked up. This dude had this network of friends. He's such an incredible, caring, generous, giving guy, successful, like not a product of his fucking upraising at all. And you let your bitch ass wife tell you he's too beige, he's too colorful to fit into my beige world. He is too different. He's different. He's dirty. He's not clean like my children will be. Also, if you're reading this, I'm so sorry. I know what I did was an awful thing to do. I hate how I acted. We all missed you, man. Please talk to me. I understand if you don't want to forgive me, but please let me know you're okay. If you don't want to be my friend anymore, I would understand. I just miss talking to you. I love you, bro. You obviously didn't love him that fucking much. I've read every comment and I've tried to reply to as many as I can. I appreciate where everyone is coming from. I'm going to step away for a bit and write a letter for S, and my wife is going to do the same. I knew I would get a lot of hate, and I knew the same would be directed towards my wife. I guess my second intention for the post hasn't come to fruition. I haven't heard from S yet. I hope I do though. I'm grateful for your advice, even the mean comments. Thank you. Oh man, you really screwed the pooch on this one. Let's see what the first round of comments has to say. They quoted, he tried to reason with me and even offered to speak to my wife about it. And they wrote, this is the worst part for me. Imagine the desperation, the confusion, the hopelessness, the absolute betrayal that he felt trying to cling on to one of the only people he could call family. It is fucking heartbreaking. You can spin any excuse you want for you and your wife's actions, but in the end, it is all bullshit as well you know. While I feel actually repulsed by your actions, I also feel pity for you both. You have lost a great human. A part of me does hope he gets in contact for some bizarre reason, even just to make you realize how much you have hurt him and actually grow as people, because I don't believe any of you have actually grown from this. I think you want to appease your own guilt. The other part of me hope he burns your letters and tells you to fuck right off. If he decides to grace you with forgiveness, that's his decision, but he would be a better man than 50 of you to do so. Oh snap. They told it like it is, and honestly, the dude needed to hear it. There is an update and it's lengthy, so let's just get right in and see what's happening. I'll be honest, I wasn't sure if I was ever going to come back to Reddit after my last post, but I need somewhere to vent, so here seems like as good a place as any. My last post received probably a well-deserved level of hate. I understand that I fucked up when I cut my friend off. I imagine anyone reading this only really cares about how he's doing, so I'll start with what little I know. We haven't spoken really. He found my post and sent me a message telling me he didn't care if I was remorseful. He's done with me. He also told my parents what happened and the reasoning behind it. They were pissed, to put it lightly. They've been pretty open about how much they are disappointed in me and how they are disgusted with my wife. He hasn't really spoken to them other than to let them know what happened. My mom is heartbroken. She really loved him, and now he isn't really replying to her messages. The only other thing I've really heard is that he is speaking to his ex again. She cheated on him, and I know he's probably only speaking to her for some support. I guess I'm worried he'll give her another chance and she'll hurt him again. Other than that, I don't know anything. Lots of messages telling me to divorce my wife. Well, you might get what you want. Our relationship has taken a massive dive off a cliff, and I don't see a way to repair it. To those telling me that something must have happened between them, I can only say this. He's not that sort of person. He'd never betray someone like that. I don't know if I can say the same for my wife anymore, given how she's manipulated me into ditching my best mate. But I know he's not the sort of person to participate in that. It seems she just didn't like him and wanted him gone. She used the potential of us starting a family to make a move to remove him. Da. So to recap, my parents hate me, my best friend won't talk to me, he's now talking to his ex who cheated on him and broke him last year, my marriage is probably broken beyond repair. I don't see any real way to fix things, but I guess I'm wondering if there's any possible way to fix things with him. If anyone has any advice, I'd appreciate it. I miss him more than anything. TLDR, my life is collapsing around me, my best friend won't talk to me, my parents hate me, my marriage is probably over. My best friend is making a huge mistake talking to his ex. No, he made a huge mistake becoming your friend so long ago. Now we have a big old comment really laying into this guy. Let's get right into it. I remember your first post and I'm not surprised at this update. You fucked up big time. Your wife sucks big time. You might not be as nasty as her, but at the very least, you're a spineless coward who hitched your wagon to someone being unfathomably cruel. I can imagine how hard it would be to even consider forgiving you from his perspective. You sold him out in the worst way, and with his background, loyalty would be one of the most important things in the world to him. I mean, fuck. Looks like you hurt him more than his cheating ex. At least he's willing to talk to her. I don't know if you can ever fix this, even just enough to be in contact with him. I guarantee you it won't happen while you're still married to such a horrible person. I know for me, if I were him, I wouldn't give you the time of day. Not saying you should divorce her to make amends with him or that it would even do the trick, just observing that she's shown her true colors and you've so far shown that it isn't a deal breaker for you. I'd always be wondering what she'd manipulate you into next. Yeah, like doing away with him and getting his freaking inheritance. Like, I mean, is there boundaries? Are there boundaries? Are they anywhere? As for your family and the rest, I don't know. I mean, you have shown that you will just cut family loose cruelly for no reason and burn their bridges with a loved one as a result. You pretty much shat on family ties and trust there. Maybe they'll move on enough to be cool with you, but you've really shown what you're willing to do to family here. I don't know if that trust will ever be repaired. Sorry to not be more upbeat. I'm just not sure what you expected after being so incredibly cruel to someone you supposedly loved for absolutely no reason whatsoever. And the next says, this was healing for me to read as someone that's been on the receiving end of a couple like this. Thank you. It's a little hurtful coming from someone who also lost a best friend for damn near no fucking reason. So I get it. It sucks. This was awful. You are the devil. Your wife is the mother of the devil. And you guys do not deserve someone this amazing, caring, great, forgiving, generous. You don't deserve him in your life at all whatsoever. I would like to know what you all thought about this one in the comments. Don't forget, we have a playlist of over 450 Am I the A-hole videos up here that you can binge. Please don't forget to like, don't forget to subscribe, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye!